Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I got this new tool. It's supposed to be a way to easily pack wheel bearings. I've never used it before. I've always packed wheel bearings by hand. I'll just go ahead and show you. I was going to try to explain it, but I'll go ahead and show you right quick. So here it is. The idea is to get your wheel bearing, set it on this, then you get this threaded piece, and you tighten this down on the wheel bearing, until it gets good and snug. I'm assuming you don't want to get it too tight because you'll break this plastic. But you tighten this down on top of the wheel bearing, and there's a zert fitting right here, and you can get your grease gun connected to the grease fitting. Oh, I got grease on it already. I don't know. But get your zert fitting grease gun connected to it, and just start to pump, and it'll force grease through the bearing. I'm kind of excited about this. I get excited about new tools and things like that, but I'm kind of excited about this because it seems like it will be a lot less messy than the regular way of doing it. I imagine you're still going to get grease on you because you got to pull it back off and put it back on the axle or whatever. But anyways, I have a new log splitter, and normally when you buy things like that, the bearings have little to no grease. I've not looked at them yet, so I'm going to get the bearings off of it right quick and see how this thing works. It actually does have a fair amount of grease on it. I'm surprised. But I'm going to grease it anyways just to see how well that thing works. I'm just going to kind of quickly wipe the excess off of this right quick. And I'm really surprised. They normally, look at all that, they normally don't put or have any grease on these bearings. Like, I've actually got things like this that were completely dry. Look, that's great. Still not gonna hurt to put grease on it or to repack them. Anyways, so the idea, you see that hole, there's a hole right there, and when you hook your grease gun up, it forces grease down through here and out of this hole. So we're gonna just stick the bearing on there. I'm gonna clean all the junk off my hands to make as minimal of a mess as possible. And it says to literally just tighten this down on there. I was trying to see if it, well, that's pretty cool. So it's sealed off pretty good. I'm just kind of rotating and looking and making sure it's, kind of uniform or whatever. But yeah, now you just connect your zert fitting like so, and begin to pump. And I'm probably gonna have to pump it quite a few times to get the grease down in here and to have enough pressure to force out of these bearings. But you and I will see together, if I can hold it right and pump it, you and I will see together the grease coming out, seeing how well this works. Well, that works pretty dang good, and that was really quick. You can see the grease has already forced its way out all the way around. So we're ready to literally just put this thing back together. That was really quick. And it was a lot less messy than using your hands and packing it. If you ever packed bearings before, you have to cake the stuff up on your hands. You grab the bearing and force it up through all that. Let's see. I'm very happy with this. Very happy with that. That's awesome. Now there's plenty of grease on there. So I've already sort of slid the bearing back up in there. Hopefully my leg's not in your way. But I've already slid the bearing back up in there. And I'm gonna try to do this without getting in your way here so you can see what's going on. But you get this nut. And you tighten it down. And you don't want to get this thing too tight. You just want to get it tight enough that there's a little bit of play. But you don't want like a lot of play and slop because it's maybe walking around going down the road. So maybe there's a little bit of play. And another thing you want to check when you're putting these things back together is that you don't hear that sound you're hearing is something on the tire. I'll jack it up so you don't hear that. It's nice and smooth. That's where you want it. And you don't want, like I said, you don't want that much play. I'm gonna see if I can tighten it up one more. Yeah, there's a little bit of play. And you don't want it tight to where it's, you know, smashing the wheel and preventing it from spinning easy. That's not good, or that wouldn't be good. But yeah, you pretty much just put that back on there. And some of them have torque specs, some of them don't. I couldn't find any torque specs for this. But you literally just get your cotter pin. I'm gonna try to straighten it up because I had to kind of yank it out. Hopefully it slides back in there pretty easily. And it's, yeah, it's going to. Maybe I can tap it in there. Okay. And there's dog hair on my pliers. I had 2 German Shepherds. Bend that one that way as best you can. I'm gonna try to get my pliers right here and clamp this one down. That was successful. And I'm gonna try to get my pliers right here and clamp this one down. That was successful as well. And I'm actually gonna try to bend this one down a little bit more. I'm not gonna have to grease this thing for a long time now. So, there we go. And get our little cap here, put it on there. Well, you want to first make sure there's no dirt and stuff in it, because that wouldn't be good to put that in your grease, would it? Do that. Get kind of evenly started. Get a rubber hammer or something. Piece of wood. If you don't have a rubber hammer. Make sure everything's good and tight on there. Spin it, get all the grease cleaned off. And that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side too because that was so quick and easy. The reason I was inspecting this bearing a little bit more than the other one is that it looked like water had been inside of this. The nut was actually a little rusted and this grease had started turning like a milky color. On the other one, as you noticed, I only did the outside bearing. I didn't do the inside. The inside on the other one looked like it had plenty of grease. You know, and this was more for demonstrative purposes of this anyway. I probably could have gotten by with not doing this. But on this side, the inside bearing also looked milky. So I'm probably gonna end up, I'm not gonna do it in the video, but I'm gonna end up removing that dust seal and actually pulling that bearing off as well, because like I said, it looked just like water got inside of it and the nut had rust and milky grease. I'm just gonna pull the bearings off and repack them. The other one looked fine. I kind of anticipated this one looking as good as the other side did, but unfortunately it didn't. Let's go ahead and get this one greased, and I'll show you the results and I'll end the video because I'm gonna have to tear that other one apart, and that's not what this video is about. This video is about this and how well it's working. So and that's all there is to it. Right there. I might do a few more pumps. Yeah. See it being forced out of all the bearings there. Looks good from here. Well guys, that's a perfect example why when you buy something new, you need to go over it and check over everything. On the first side, the left side of the log splitter, the wheel bearings rather, that I checked, they look pretty good. You know, the inside one, the inside bearing had a lot of grease. The outside one had some grease on it, but it wouldn't hurt to add more, right? Plus I was demonstrating my new tool, which is kind of cool. I was excited about using it, and this would have been the easiest way to do that, especially since it's new and I was checking over everything. But once I got to the right side, I'm not sure if you guys saw, I should have took pictures and all this type of stuff, and I had grease all over my hands, and I didn't really want to, you know, I'm holding a camera and all this type of stuff. I don't want to get everything too dirty. But the cap itself, when I took it off, had rust on it, which means water has been getting in there. The cap wasn't that tight from the, I'm not going to say where I got it from, but the cap wasn't tight from where I got it from, I'll say that. And when I saw the rust, I was like, oh no. So the bearing looked like it had some milky grease on it, which when you got something milky oil, it means there's water in it. And I went ahead and took the gas cap. I went ahead and took the dust cap off and popped the other bearing out, and it had like no grease in it. And it was actually it wasn't a grease consistency, I'll say that. So I'm glad I went ahead and checked over everything, and I'm glad I repacked the bearings with grease. Right now, everything's smooth and good. I went over this thing. I'm gonna make a separate video on just the log splitter. And that video will go for all kinds of things, like just reasons why when you get something, you should check over everything. Because when people put things together, it might be lunch break or something come up, or they might have something going on, or they might be mad at their employer, or whatever reason. You guys know what I'm talking about because you've been through it, I've been through it, we've all been through it. And things just might get skipped over or not done the correct way. So I'm gonna kind of go over the log splitter in a separate video of a few things that I had to, you know, sort of correct. There were quite a few things actually, especially if you're wanting something to last for a long time. But anyways, that's a different video for a different day. I appreciate you guys watching. I definitely recommend this tool. It was only like $11 or $12. I mean, if you have a grease gun and all that type of stuff, and you even, you know, if you even grease wheel bearings, it's something that I would consider essential now, because I don't know, hand packing, you got to dip your hand in the grease and pack it, and you get all nasty and messy. Where this thing, my hands are pretty clean. I mean, I did get a little dirty because I had to pop the inside bearing off and all that type of stuff, but I'm overall happy with it. Recommend getting it. I'll put it in the description. You don't have to get that one. That just gives you an idea of what you can get. That was the best price for quality. There were more expensive ones, but I will say this. They have metal ones, and I was reading online, the metal ones are not good because they don't flex. The plastic one actually flexes, and what that does is give it more of a seal, if that makes sense. But anyways, guys, hope you got something out of it. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.